How does someone come off a drug like Wegovy or Zepbound and maintain the weight that they lost? This has been a big question I've been getting, partly because I did a video a couple of months ago talking about how a majority of people, when they come off one of these medications, are likely going to gain back all of the weight that they lost, if not maybe more. And this is in part because I did a video a couple of months ago, link is down below, be sure to check it out, where I talked about how a majority of individuals, when they come off one of these medications, are going to regain the weight. In fact, only about 15% of people are able to come off of these medications and maintain the weight they lost. For everyone else, they tend to follow this pattern right here. Now, this was a trial that was done with tirzepatide or Zepbound. Everyone was given the drug at the start for a period of time, and then at that point where there's the dashed line, what we had is they got split into two groups. Half the people got put on a placebo, half the people got to stay on tirzepatide, and as you can see, those that got the placebo, well, they started to gain that weight back. So, in general, because it is so common that people will gain the weight back, I generally don't recommend coming off of these medications. These drugs, they are safe, they are effective, we can use them long term, we have lots of data with them, and ultimately they're helping us to manage the biology that is going to want us to regain that weight and is going to prevent us from maintaining our weight at a lower level. But I know there are some situations where some people need to come off of the medication, say if they're paying out of pocket for these medications and can no longer afford it, or if they're planning to become pregnant and these medications are contraindicated in pregnancy, so they need to come off in that case, or people just genuinely would like to come off of the drug. And they are more than allowed to do that. And if they're my patient, I don't say, well, I'm not working with you anymore. I, of course, am still there to provide them support. And ultimately, that is what I'm going to talk to you about today, is how would I go about with a patient in terms of getting them off of one of these medications. Now, regaining the weight after you stop a diet, plan, program, or what have you really isn't a new concept. I'm sure many of you have plenty of experience with that. And one of the things we say on the clinician side of things is that the best way to gain 5 pounds is to lose 20. Now, the reason why the regain in weight occurs is not because of a personal failing on your part or that you have something wrong with you. It is a simple fact that we are dealing with biology and that obesity is a chronic and progressive disease. You see, 30,000 years ago, when we were all living in our caves and stuff like that and doing the whole hunter-gatherer piece of things, if you were losing weight at that point in time, it wasn't to get skinny for your cousin's wedding or something. It was because you were actively dying. And thus, our bodies created a very powerful counter-regulatory system to not only motivate us to go out and hunt and gather, but to also get us to store and hold on to as much fat as possible. And ultimately, this biology is now colliding with our modern food environment, and thus we have obesity. And hey, if you are enjoying my content and you are wanting to learn more about how to manage your weight both with and without medication, then you should probably hit that subscribe button down below as well as turning on those notifications. Not only are you going to get access to all of my great information, but you're also going to make my self-esteem feel pretty darn awesome. As well, don't forget to check out the OG members membership side of my YouTube channel. For the OG members, I do a monthly live where we talk about the how-tos of managing and losing your weight long term, really getting into the nitty-gritty of the skills and the things that you need to be able to do that. As well, I do a live Q&A session, so if you bring your questions, concerns, and what have you, I will answer them in real time. So again, check out everything down below as well, hit that subscribe button. Alright, so how do we go about coming off of a medication like Wegovy and potentially maintain the weight that we lost? As a couple of caveats here, you definitely do need to do this with your primary care provider and your primary care team. Please do not attempt to do this on your own. Make sure you've got the supports in place and everybody is aware of what is occurring and what is happening. As well, this approach is not guaranteed, and heck, it might not even work for you. This is just a very broad kind of high-level view of some of the things that I would be looking at and supporting my patient with if we were looking to come off of these medications. As well, this video is only for informational purposes, so please do not sue me. Now, this entire journey is going to be a slow one because we essentially need to tame and manage the biology that wants to get you to regain that weight back. And in essence, we need to get really good at some of the basics of health and wellness. So before we do anything else, we need to figure out how many calories you are currently eating and how many grams of protein you're currently eating on a daily basis. I'm sure many of you are currently tracking, but if you're not, you definitely need to start. Unfortunately, guesstimations and stuff like that are just not going to work in this kind of process. After we figure out how much you are currently eating, we need to figure out what is your actual maintenance level of calories and protein for your current body weight. And to do that, you can go and check out my fancy dandy calculator that I created down below. Click on Optimal Health, input your data, and on the last page, it's going to tell you how many calories and how much protein you need to eat for your current age, height, weight, and activity level. All right. We've now got some data points. We know that we're currently here, and we need to get all the way over here. So, as an example, let's say you're currently eating 80 grams of protein a day, and you're eating about 1,200 calories per day. And the calculator told you that you need to be eating about 150 grams of protein per day and 2,000 calories per day to currently maintain your body weight. We clearly have got a bit of work to do here. And again, we need to take this slowly because you suddenly going from 80 to 150 grams of protein starting tomorrow, well, it's just not going to end very well. We want to make small incremental changes, so going from say 80 to 90. Do that for a week and then go 90 to 100 and so on and so forth. And really, before we make any kind of medication changes, we want to start implementing these kinds of dietary changes, getting your protein up, working to get your calories up, and we want to be getting as much good whole foods as possible into you. And your goal over the next little while is going to be to become a protein eater. That's going to be like your entire identity. And that's because we want to get your protein and your calorie intake as close as we possibly can to what your maintenance calculations have been found to be, because that is going to help us to calm down that biology, to kind of tell it, hey, we're getting enough nutrients and such like that to manage this current weight. Please calm the F down. The other things you're going to need to work on through this process is making sure you're getting more fiber, trying to increase your consistency of your meals throughout the day. So if you're skipping breakfast currently, you're probably going to need to add in some breakfast. As well, to eat that much protein, you're probably going to have more frequent meals and snacks over the course of the day. Ultimately, though, it's going to be about finding what works for you and being as consistent as you possibly can be. We're not aiming for perfection, we're not aiming for 100% consistency, but we want to be probably hitting at least 80% consistency throughout the days that we're working on this. And to give you some perspective, 80% consistency in a 30-day period is about 24 days. 24 days that you are aiming to get your protein intake higher and up to where we want it to be. And hey, if you want a tool to help you along this journey to kind of get a better understanding of not only what it is that you're eating on a day-to-day basis, but also what are your emotional patterns with your meals and such like that, then you definitely want to download my free food journal down below in the link. It is a 7-day food journal that not only helps you to capture the foods that you're eating, but also what are the emotional patterns, cues, and triggers that are happening around your meals, which really are the more important piece as to why and what drives us to eat and some of those motivating factors. They're all extremely important questions, so definitely check out the link down below, input your email, and you will get my free 7-day journal. Now, with the medication at its current dose, as you start to increase your protein and calorie intake, you might find that pretty darn hard because the dose of the medication is so high that it's just knocking out your appetite and just making it so you don't want to eat. So, this is where you want to be connecting with your care team and saying, hey, can I go on a little bit of a lower dose? And we're not going from our top dose down to nothing. The better option is going to be, say, we're on Wegovy 2.4 milligrams once per week. Let's go down to Wegovy 1.7 milligrams once a week. Let's do that for 4 weeks because that's how long it takes that new drug level to stabilize in your body. And let's see how our appetite adjusts with that lower dose. This whole thing is going to be a real balancing act of kind of adjusting the dose of the medication while increasing your calorie and protein intake. What we're doing with the medication is we're bringing it down slowly to increase your appetite so that you're able to consume and eat more food and ultimately get your calories and protein to where we need it to be. All the while through this process, you need to be checking in and asking yourself, how is my hunger? How are my cravings? Am I ravenous? Is it manageable? What exactly is going on the inside? And please remember that hunger and cravings are perfectly normal. They are just a part of the human process and how our body gets us to go and find and eat food. So some cravings are okay. When they're overt and ravenous and you can't control them, well, that's when they're more of a concern. Now, if through this balancing act you're finding that you go to a lower dose and suddenly the hunger and cravings and stuff like that come screaming back, Yes, we can try to increase your protein and calorie intake more quickly. However, that might not work. You might still have a significant amount of hunger and cravings, and that's because the biology is so overt that you can't do anything about it. That's okay, but you might need to stay on the medication in that situation. Regardless, practice patience with this whole thing. Eating high protein for one day or 1 week is not going to solve this problem of biology. This is going to be something that you need to consistently do for weeks, if not months, before you can fully get off one of these medications. All right, so that's the food, that's the medication adjustment piece of things. Now we need to look at all the other supporting things that are just as important. Activity in particular is going to be a huge one. You see, activity is not very effective at helping us to lose weight, but it's super effective at helping us to maintain our weight. So you need to do as much as you can, and in fact, I'm going to recommend that if you're not at the gym already lifting weights, then you need to get there. You need to be aiming for at least 1 hour of activity every single day. Aim for a combination of both cardio and strength training. Strength training and resistance training I'm a huge fan of because it's going to help us to build our lean muscle tissue. The more muscle mass you have, the more calories you're going to burn by just simply existing, the stronger you're going to be, the healthier you're going to be, and hey, it's also going to help us to manage some of that biology. The other things that we need to consider and really focus on are going to be things like your sleep, your mindfulness around meals, your positive self-talk and how you're kind of talking to yourself, whether you're shaming yourself and that sort of thing. You definitely need to work on that. You also need to look at getting away from this idea of perfection and moving towards this concept of mastery. So that's the general overview and approach to everything. It's going to be slow and very sequential. What I want to talk to you about next here is your actual expectations. I want to set you up so that you're fully aware of what to expect as you go on this journey so that you don't have any kind of stumbling blocks or things that ultimately hold you up. As I've already mentioned, it's going to take a long time. It's probably going to be a whole 6-month process before you can fully come off of these medications. Ultimately, the more slow that you can do it, the better that you're going to be. We want to utilize these medications as a tool to help you to build really good and solid habits so that when you remove the medication, you can fall back onto those habits and keep on going. Having some increase in your hunger and cravings is perfectly normal. Again, I cannot stress that enough. It is a biological function and process that gets us to go out and find food and such. They are a normal feeling, and getting the idea that you can just suppress them forever and they'll never come back is not going to get you where you want to be. The next expectation is that you're going to gain a few pounds back. Whatever your lowest was on the medication at its top dose, yeah, you're probably not going to be able to sit and maintain that, especially if you're increasing how much food you're eating. You're just going to have more food in your body, you're going to have more poop in your body, more water, more carbs, etc. Also, if you're gaining and doing things like weight training, you're going to see an increase in muscle mass, which is going to increase your weight. And ultimately, there may be a few pounds of fat that are gained back. That is okay. It's going to be very hard to maintain that much lower weight, but just have the expectation that you could see some weight gain return, and that is perfectly normal. It's time to let go of the number on the scale. The next thing is that this is going to be really effing hard. Probably harder than the whole process you went through to lose the weight to begin with. Getting off and maintaining your weight long term is going to be the real challenge. It's going to require planning, it's going to require mindfulness, it's going to require a whole slew of things that, again, you need to get practiced and really good at in order to be successful in sustaining and maintaining your weight long term. And with how hard this whole process is going to be, you really need to be honest with yourself, and can you actually engage and take the time to make these changes and become really good at them? If you're a mom with 2 young kids and working a full-time job, etc., well, you probably don't have the time to do it. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that if you need to stay on the medication maybe for a longer period or continue to utilize it as the tool that it is to just help you maintain your weight during this period of time. Ultimately, and regardless of what your outcome is, whether you stay on or not, our goal is always going to be health. Health is the key factor, and just being at a lower weight doesn't necessarily mean you're healthy. What's going to make you healthy is going to be engaging in activity, eating whole foods, eating plenty of protein, etc. Those are the things that actually matter. So figure out what is the healthiest and most sustainable lifestyle possible for you, with or without medication. Practice, and get really good at those lifestyle changes. and then continue on and live your healthiest and happiest life. Oh yeah, and you need to make sure that you're having fun during this entire thing, because if you're not having fun, it's not going to be sustainable. So make sure you're finding the things that work for you, that you enjoy, and yeah, give it a good old shot if that's really what you want to do. Otherwise, if you can stay on the medication, I definitely recommend it. They are safe and effective, and they're helping us to manage that biology. So that is it, and that is all, you beautiful people. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and turn on those notifications as well. Feel free to share this video with any friends that you think might get some benefit out of it. As well, don't forget to sign up for the OG members membership side of my YouTube channel. Links for that are all down below. As well, check out all my other links that I have going on down there, and check me out on my other channels at The Official Dr. Dan. We're on the Tick, the Talk, the Gram, so be sure to check them out and give me a follow elsewhere. And as I always sign off, please remember that it's going to be those small tweaks that lead to those massive peaks.